Let's get started with Flash. Flash CS6 is an animation program that lets you create animations and export animations to either YouTube. You can export them as movies, or you can export them as GIF animations, which we'll learn how to do shortly. To start a new animation, we click on ActionScript 3, and this is the layout. So let's get used to the layout first. Let's open this up. We have the main window here, which is where you do your editing stuff. The timeline, which shows you the frames within your animation. We have the toolbar over the right, and we have the properties in here. And all these other window panels are to do with other advanced stuff that we won't cover yet. If your Flash does not look like this, then you can go up to Window, and we can change our workspace to Essentials. That's what this is set to. So if yours looks something like, I don't know, something different, or the windows, because you can drag the windows around and remove the windows. If it doesn't look like what we're working with today, then simply go to your workspace and change it to Essentials, and it should reset. So the first thing we're going to do is draw or animate a shape. We're going to choose the shape tool, and I'm going to draw a square on our scene here. I want to animate this square to go from left to right. All I'm going to do is right click. There are many ways we can do this, but the first way we're going to try is using a motion tween. So I'm going to right click on that keyframe, and I'm going to select Create Motion Tween. The selected item cannot be tweened. You must convert this to a symbol. So before we create animation tweens, we have to create them as symbols. And luckily, I can say don't show again. Luckily, Flash does it for me. So now we have 25 frames in our animation so far. And I know that there are 24 frames. It's set it to there automatically because down here I have the frames per second set to 24. So it's given me 1 second of an animation. If I wanted 2 seconds of an animation, I would simply extend this to 48. I would then right click and would insert a keyframe, insert keyframe, click all, and it would insert a dot. Those dots on the timeline here are keyframes. So if I have my point of my timeline here with the red thing, I can now use my selection tool, which is V for a shortcut on the keyboard. I can now move this box to the right. And you'll see that these dots here, this dotted line is the animation path. So now I can scrub through my timeline and I can see my animation. To test my animation before we export, I simply go to Control and Test Moving. The shortcut on the keyboard is Command Enter, which I'll be using from now on. There's my animation. To export this animation, we simply go to File, Export, Export Movie. I can export this movie as my test as a QuickTime, which will export it as an MOV. So that will allow me to upload it to YouTube. But in this case, I want to create an animated GIF image to upload to my Google Sites. So I simply select animated GIF from the format. I click Save. I just go with the standard settings here. And now on my desktop, I should have spacebar, an animated GIF. This animated GIF now can be uploaded to one of my Google sites. So it's as simple as going to your Google site, selecting the page. So I'm going to put it on our Flash page. move this across a little bit, and I'll drag that GIF image and wait for it to upload. They're usually a little bit bigger, depending on how long your animation goes for. And click Publish, and View Publish Site. My animation should be running just like it was previewed there. There you go. There's my animation. Going back to Flash, your animations can be a lot more complex, so that will be up to you. But basically, if you want to make multiple layers, all you do is, it's very similar to Photoshop. You create a new layer, and at different points of the timeline, you can put in shapes or drawings or other things that we will cover in other videos. So to get started, just try and create a simple animation using a tween and then upload it to your site.